Welcome, everybody, to the next version of my interview series for women leaders on Clarity and Confidence TV. I'm so excited to have Angela Champ with us today. And I met Angela in a past life when I was doing leadership training, and she was the HR director. Actually, she was the Chief Human Resources Officer for a credit union in Canada. And I'm going to let her tell you all about her because I can't do it justice. So welcome, Angela. I would love if you could just tell everybody who you are, what you do, what you love. And in the time of COVID and quarantine, you can share maybe any fun things that you're doing to make your quarantine a little bit more exciting.
Sounds great. Thank you so much for having me. When I saw your call out for speakers, I had to put up my hand and say, I'd love to talk to you about this topic about clarity and confidence because it's something that I believe in so much and love to talk about. So thank you for having me. As you mentioned, I was the CHRO for a credit union here in Canada, in British Columbia. And I have been a senior HR executive in many industries, including insurance. I've been in oil and gas. I've worked in banking. I've worked in construction. I've worked in tourism, and so I've just had a most fantastic career, and all of those roles have given me insight into the topic of confidence and about leadership. And so happy to be here to talk to you about it. I live here just outside of Vancouver, British Columbia with my family, my husband and my daughter and our cat Paris. And you're right, we are in the age of COVID right now. And so like a lot of people, I have perfected my bread making skills.
Ooh.
And so I have never baked or eaten so much bread in my life.
We are on a quest to find our local area's best cinnamon rolls because since we can't go do Sunday brunch anymore, so I know what you mean about the food. And I love what you said, and this is going to be kind of a two-part question. So when I put out an all call, said, hey, nominate people who you think would be a great person to interview on this women's leadership series, Angela was not only one of the first to respond, but one of the only people who nominated herself. I would be super curious before I ask you about your definition of confidence, but from your perspective as an executive leader, human resources, why is it, do you think, that more women don't nominate themselves? Because I think men have no problem raising their hand and saying, I'll be on it, right? But what is it? And I wish more women would nominate themselves. So I would be curious on your perspective and what you've seen.
Kelly, you're so right. I think from an early age in grade school, we're taught to be quiet and to raise our hands when we want to ask a question and to wait our turn. And those are all very polite and civil responses to have. But you'll notice that not everybody does that. And then what happens is we get left behind. There's a lot of talk, and even in this new book that I just wrote, it's coming out in the fall, I write about advocates and sponsors, and particularly women. They look for advocates and sponsors to try and promote them because a lot of women especially, don't feel comfortable promoting themselves. They think it feels too aggressive or too ambitious. My goodness, let's not use that word, ambitious. Yeah. And so they're reluctant to nominate themselves, but not everybody has an advocate. Not everybody has a sponsor. And sometimes we need to be our own advocates and our own sponsors. And so that's why I nominated myself. And I love it when I see women who very calmly and very graciously say, I think I'd like to try that too, and put their hands up and say, how about me? Instead of always waiting for other people to promote them, for other people to say, hey, do you know what good work Kelly's doing? That's always fabulous when people can do that, but not everybody has that. Mm-hmm. And so that's why I nominated myself.
That's amazing. And if I can give anybody a challenge today, and we're going to talk about your book, so they're going to go and look at that, but even before that, what is one thing you can nominate for yourself for today? And it could even just be something super, super, super tiny. Maybe you're going to nominate yourself out of something. Maybe it starts with nominating yourself to be not the cook tonight. Yes. And how can we practice those small things so then when it comes to the big things, like we've built up our confidence. And I think you are so right. Like, choose yourself, nominate yourself. And so I'm putting a call out there to everybody to follow your lead and nominate. And the other thing that you brought up, and as a former HR director, I think you and I can both agree that on a couple of things. We've hired many people over the course of our career who maybe only met 30 to 40% of the qualifications, but were just fantastic,
Yes.
you know, culture fit, motivated, talented, and we're like, we need you. I mean, again, would you agree with that?
Oh, I agree with you so much. I have so many examples of people that I've hired where we posted the role under one description with a set of responsibilities. And after we interviewed this particular person, we thought, okay, we have to have this person on our team, and this person's skills are a little bit different than what we were looking for, and we've actually altered the role
Yes.
in order to fit that person. This is why I say, so you just have to apply, because you never know. It won't work 100% of the time, but if you don't apply, it'll never work. It'll work 0% of the
And I
time.
always tell women, if you meet 100% of the qualifications, you're probably overqualified. You're probably going to
Oh,
job
so a
for
hundred
6 months
percent.
and be bored.
A
Yes.
100%. I will tell you, I've actually had 3 jobs in my life where I've had no experience in that role whatsoever, and I was hired. And one of those was I became a vice president of human resources with almost no human resources experience. I'm a poli-sci grad in my undergrad,
Me too.
and I worked in operations for the majority of my career. And so I became I became vice president of human resources with almost zero HR experience. How does that happen? Because I was able to bring the skills from other jobs and translate those into what HR does. And that's just one example. I've had 3 jobs where I got the job and I had zero experience, but I did have the skill set. And so I think we need to stop looking at just, have I done that job with that job title before? Because I think that's what prevents a lot of women from applying. Instead, saying, do I have the skill set to do that work because I've done it elsewhere? Maybe it's through volunteering. Maybe it was through sports. Maybe it was through school. Maybe it's from your home life. Can you translate that skill set to that job, even if you've never done that job before? I'll tell you, if more people do that, they'd be surprised at how many times they might actually land that job.
I love that. Like motto of the day, apply for all the jobs, ladies, especially the ones that you think are going to bring you passion. Okay, so people are probably just dying to know, where can they find you? How can they follow you? Tell them all the things so they can go and get all of your stuff. We know that
I
your
love
book
it.
will be coming out, and we'll drop a link for that when we
Yes.
have the pre-order. So tell them everything else.
So easy way, you can follow me or connect with me on LinkedIn, just Angela Champ, or you can follow me on Twitter, which is at Angela_Champ. Or to make it even easier still, I have a website, which is www.angelachamp.com. There you can find information about my first book, which has been out for a few years, my upcoming book, which should be out in the fall, as well as speaking engagements and workshops that I participate in. So I would love to connect with some of your viewers if they'd like to connect with me.